In this video, I'm going to show you how to install traditional irrigation wiring both at the valve and at the controller. When you turn a zone on at the controller sends 24 volts of electricity down the common and the field wire. When the voltage reaches the solenoid, the coil becomes an electromagnet, pulling the plunger up in the solenoid. This causes a change in pressure within the valve, causing the diaphragm to open and the zone to turn on. When the controller turns off, the plunger drops back down, causing the top of the diaphragm to have a greater force, and the diaphragm closes, turning the zone off. For this job, you will need a sharp knife, wire cutters, a Phillips head screwdriver, and wire nuts. Let's start at the valves. Each solenoid has two wires connected to it. One of these wires must be connected to the white common wire, the second is connected to a coloured field wire. It doesn't matter which wire you use from the solenoid as long as one is connected to the common and the other is connected to the field wire. Begin by stripping the wire at the valve. Using a sharp knife, cut the jacket off the wires. Pull out the wires inside the jacket and locate the string. Pulling the string back along the wire will open the wire jacket further, exposing more wire. Cut off the extra wire jacket we just stripped. For this job, we are only installing 3 valves. 2 of these valves will be sprinkler heads, the other is drip. We color code our valves in the order red, orange, yellow, green, brown. We always use blue for the drip zone. This makes it easier to identify the valve/wires at the controller. Therefore, the only wires we need for this installation is the common, which is the white wire, the red wire for zone 1, the orange wire for zone 2, and the blue wire for the drip. The other coloured wires we can wrap around the wire jacket for possible future use. Using wire cutters, strip ½ an inch off of the end of each coloured wire, exposing them ready for splicing. As stated earlier in this video, each solenoid has 2 wires coming off of them. One will connect to the common and the other will connect to the field wire. Begin by exposing ½ an inch off of all the wires connected to the solenoids. If it is a new solenoid, then you can just remove the tip of the wire simply by pulling it off with your hands to expose them. Locate the common wire, which is the white one, and connect 1 wire from each solenoid to it. Then make the connection strong and watertight by installing a wire nut. When the wires start to twist, then you know you have made a good connection. You may have to cut the wire shorter to get a good connection. Next, we will install zone 1 field wire. Take the other wire connected to the zone 1 solenoid and connect it to the red wire using a wire nut. Turn the nut until the wire twists. Do the same with zone 2, which connects to the orange wire. And finally, splice together zone 3, which is the drip, with the blue wire. Now let's install the wire at the controller. Begin by exposing the wire by removing the jacket. Next, feed the wires into the controller. Again, we only need 4 wires for this installation. These wires are the white, the red, the orange, and the blue. The rest of the wires can be tucked away for possible future use. Expose ½ an inch from the top of each wire using wire cutters. The white common wire will be connected to the COM output. Zone 1, which is the red wire, will be connected to station output 1. Zone 2, which is the orange wire, will be connected to station output 2, and zone 3, which is the blue wire, will be connected to station output 3. Using a screwdriver, coil each wire up and connect them to the correct stations. Doing this adds a small surge protection to the wires. It also allows you to freely move the wires onto any station output on the controller, as you have more wire to work with. Finally, you can test your wiring using a multimeter. Set the multimeter to the ohms setting. Connect the black lead to the common and the red lead to one of the station outputs. If you wired in the valves correctly, you will hear a tone from the multimeter and the screen will show a number, indicating the resistance. Each type of solenoid has a different ohms reading. One Irrigation solenoid should read around 25 ohms. If you have more than one solenoid connected to the field wire, then this reading will be lower. If the multimeter doesn't make a tone and shows the number 1, then you have a broken wire, the wire splice connection failed, or the solenoid is bad. If you don't have a multimeter, you can test your wiring by firing each of the zones from the controller and seeing if they work.